Three, two, one.
Welcome, Earth. Wait, no.
You're listening to another episode of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon.
Greetings, Earthlings and locally hated chiropractors. This is Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon. And we just want to welcome all our Nightshifters back to episode 171. And we are totally in control today.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, man. I love that locally hated chiropractors, dude. I got obsessed with chiropractor videos lately. Yeah, you've seen those, right? Most people have seen the ones where like these people get these crazy back cracks when they go to the chiropractor, right? Most people have seen those videos. But the ones that I have been obsessed with, and this might be really bad, is the ones where you've got like these 80-something-year-old, 90-something-year-old people who walk in there all hunched over.
Yeah.
And like they can't even lay flat on the dang bed. And you got this chiropractor who goes in there and starts snapping all these joints and stuff. And they literally look like they're dying. They're like it's I've gotten a little obsessed with old people going to the chiropractor.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, they apparently walk straighter and whatnot when they're done, but I swear, in the process, it looks like that chiropractor is killing them. It's pretty funny to watch, man. You should really,
I might have to dive into the latest geriatric chiropractor videos.
Senior citizens going to the chiropractor. Speaking of senior citizens, man, we had a sporting event this past weekend, dude.
We did?
Yeah, we had a boxing match on Friday night.
Yeah, okay. So are we going to do this as a separate thing, or are we can review, or are we going to
just go ahead and get it out of the way, man? It kind of kicked off the weekend, right? It kind of kicked off the weekend on Friday, so let's just get it out of the way, man. Let's talk about it. What did you think? Did you watch the fight? Did you get to catch the whole thing? Did you watch any of the prelims? What was your experience?
We had the prelims on at the racetrack. We were at Sonoa doing a thing with Synergy, and Chip's like, we're going to put the fight on one of the big screens because he's got Starlink set up with that thing.
Yeah.
So we had the fight on one TV, the race live stream on another TV, but it had buffered so much it was like 3 races behind, and I missed a car flip over twice.
Oh, dang.
The same car, the same wreck, because I'm like, I looked across the track, I'm like, that car's upside down. I'll just catch it on a replay. Well, when I happened to look up at the replay, the car was upside down again.
Oh, dang. You missed both accidents.
I missed the same wreck twice. But so I saw bits and pieces. I didn't really get to study it. We were kind of busy. And we left the track, and Charlie's like, turns on his... Here's the weird thing. Okay, I'm seeing on social media that people's talking about how they're having trouble streaming it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, we were on Starlink. We never had it. It never buffered.
Yeah, I never had one issue streaming the fight. I mean, I had a couple of people send me memes about struggling to stream, but I never personally had any issues.
So Charlie pulls it up on his phone, and he's watching it on the way home, and basically from the time they started the pre-fight stuff for that fight to the time that first bell rung to start the fight, we drove home and got to see the whole fight.
Okay, cool.
And
what was your reaction, man? What did you think? We had Iron Mike Tyson in there, 58 years old, against the problem child Jake Paul. He's 27, 28 years old. What did you think? What was your immediate reaction?
The headline should read, YouTube star beats up senior citizen.
That should be the headline. You're right.
Look, Tyson had a good first round. Decent first round. They were talking about. Did you see him biting his glove?
Yeah. The commentary kept talking about that the whole fight. Yeah.
How come we've never heard about that before?
You can look back at some of his fights and see him do something similar, but it doesn't seem as dramatic. So I don't know. Maybe he's been doing it. Maybe it is like a tick that he has in the ring. A lot of fighters have ticks.
Yeah.
Maybe that is something. I don't know. I felt like they talked about it way too much.
They did talk
I
about it a
don't think
lot,
it
right?
was affecting his ability to move and dodge punches, and yeah. So
Now, a lot of people have been saying, how come we've been seeing these training videos, but then you see the fight and it's not like it. But like the training videos we've seen, I think me and you have talked about this. You said, well, it's only 10 seconds.
Yep.
So he can go like that for 10 seconds.
It's been my point. That's been my point the whole time. We can all look really good hitting pads for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
When you're not getting decked in the face, when you're not getting hit in the body, when you know what I mean? And Jake Paul's no small, tiny kid. He's a big old boy, 227 pounds, 225 pounds, something like that. He's a big old boy, man. When he comes whopping on your body and on your ribs, that's going to hurt. When he hits you in the forehead, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And so, even when you put together these awesome rhythmic pad sessions, you know what I mean? When you hear that perfect sweetness when he's hitting the pads, that pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean? When he hits those rhythms, that's very hard to do when someone's swinging back. And Mike Tyson's famous quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right?
Right.
It just kind of goes to show those training videos don't mean much, man.
I don't think he wanted to go to that place again.
No, he certainly didn't look like he had the killer in him. He looked like he was willing to go the distance. I mean, he did go the distance, right?
Yeah.
He looked like he was willing to put up a fight, but it didn't look like the killer Mike Tyson that, we were used to in the late 80s, early 90s. And it shouldn't, right? He's 58 years old. It shouldn't look like the same old killer. He definitely didn't have his legs, dude. It was really sad to see his footwork and his lack of footwork, I should say.
Yeah, it don't even look like he trained legs.
Well, I mean, they talked about he had some sort of knee injury. I don't know what that was. I wasn't following, the preparation of the fight that much. So I don't know what his knee injury was. I do know that, I do think if we had gotten the fight back in July or whenever they originally had it scheduled, I think we probably would have gotten a better fight. I think whatever he had going on health-wise, Tyson, that made them postpone the fight, I think that had a drastic effect on his performance.
Yeah.
Probably on his stamina and those types of things. But yeah, for a fighter like Mike, if he doesn't have his legs under him, if he doesn't have full range of motion and all that, hip dexterity, knee dexterity, all of that stuff is super important when you have that type of fighting style. And so when you take those things away from him, that's what you're going to get. Father Time is undefeated, and just another instance of that.
Yeah. I'm glad he went all 8 rounds. Glad he didn't give up.
Yeah.
Those 2-minute rounds sure did seem short from my point of view.
Yeah, for sure. I like that in a way, especially for Mike, right? For Mike Tyson. I like that for him. Shorter rounds. And I also like that it kind of forces the action. You don't have as much time to play and win the round. You know what I mean? You can't keep your distance as long. You have to engage. And I like that. It kind of puts the pressure on the fighter to engage. So apparently Jake Paul was actually I saw him say it. He said after the fight that he did pull the brakes a little bit when he noticed that Mike couldn't move as well as he should. Jake says that he was pulling his punches a little bit come towards the end of the fight. So I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whole thing was a stunt. It was a money grab. Good for them. I hope they made all of it. I hope they made tons and tons of money. I don't want to see Mike back in there. I know after the fight, he called out the other brother, Logan. I don't want to see that personally. I just don't. I don't think it would be entertaining at all. I think we all got, we all know what Mike Tyson has left in the tank. Maybe if him and Holyfield, because the last match I saw Holyfield in was rough, brother. So if him and Holyfield can figure something out, I'm just saying I'd be open to that. If Holyfield just need to be wearing like some iron ear guards or something like that, like some maybe some spiked ear guards. Like, could it have like big old spikes on it?
Dude,
would that be legal?
What? Okay, a senior boxing league.
Yes, love the idea of it. I love that idea for MMA. I've been talking about that for MMA for a long time because MMA is obviously a younger organization. Some of these fighters, they all obviously can't keep up with the 20-year-olds, but are still good. And so I've been preaching that all for MMA, but I think it applies to boxing as well. Like, why not have a Legends League, right? It makes total sense. Golf has it. Lots of different sports do it. I think it would be really fun and entertaining. I mean, you can even modify the rules, right? No headshots. I think Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson, when they fought a few years back, they kind of had this undisclosed rule where they wouldn't go heavy to the head. And so you can even make rules like that. You know what I mean? Like, incorporate things to make it competitive. I'm fine with that. If the fighters are cool with it, I'm cool with it. If it keeps these guys in action and doing what they love to do and doing what they're really good at, I'm for it, dude.
Yeah. It was weird watching a boxing match. That's the first time probably in 30 years I watched a boxing match.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so different from watching MMA.
Yeah.
Now, because like there's no, like, you can't go hug on the dude. He's gonna rip your head off if you do.
They're doing that more and more in MMA now. There are quote unquote classy fighters in sport and very sportsmanlike fighters. And then there are obviously some fighters who are still in the UFC who just garner that sort of respect just because they've won so many matches, they're a legend already or whatever. So you'll see a lot of hugging going on. But then there are plenty of grudge matches in MMA, and I'm here for it, dude. I love it. I love the way the UFC puts together fights. And there was a big UFC event this weekend too, and Jon Jones retained his heavyweight title, and we'll see what happens with him. He says he's not going to retire, so that's interesting. We'll see what Uncle Dana does with Jon Jones. But yeah, there was a big weekend for combat sports, man. Big weekend for combat sports.
So I didn't have that pay-per-view.
Of course, yeah, me either. I don't pay for it.
So I went and discovered that on ESPN Plus, because it comes with my Hulu and all that stuff, that I can watch the older fights, but not like real old. Like, you can watch any fights you want, but like I was watching 306 this weekend.
Oh yeah.
For the Spear.
Mm-hmm. How cool was that, man?
It was pretty cool, because especially if you don't like go and look at it online, it's like watching a live fight.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure, man. I love that. I love ESPN Plus and the bank of UFC fights. There's also UFC Fight Pass, which is it's like $20-$30 for the whole year or something like that, and you get every single fight ever, including all of Pride fights, everything. Because the UFC bought Pride way back in the day. So yeah, you get everything, the whole catalog. And so I recommend that to any serious MMA fans as well, dude. It's a trip. I love going on there and having a blast. I'm going deep dives, dude.
Dude, I could imagine. You probably get into it.
Yeah, for sure.
What else did you do this weekend?
Man, what else did I do? I had to work on cars, unfortunately, which I never really enjoy doing. but I had to do it. Mother-in-law is moving soon, so I had to take care of some things on her car. I had someone move in down the street. It's my neighbor's mother moved in just down the street from us. So I went over there, helped her install her washer and dryer, and she gave me a humongous box of books, dude. I mean, humongous box of books. I've got everything in there from like original DOS programming to like the medical encyclopedia. I sent you a couple of books, man. There's this anthology of poetry by young Americans.
Do you care to read the poetry online on the show today about America?
Yeah. Look, I can. When I saw the cover of the book, I'm thinking it's going to be super like introspective college age young Americans. And so I open it up, and this is from 2002. And so I open it up, and it turns out it's a culmination of like ages 6 to like 14. And a lot of these are about 9/11. And so it gets a little bit weird, man.
It
gets a little
bit of the war is still a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. This is 2002, man. I mean, people had a different idea of things. There's one in here that I really wanted to read. Gosh, here it is. It's called Bird, and it's by a boy named Kendrick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bird.
The beautiful bird sings in the sweet air all day. At night, he will sleep.
That's it?
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful poetry from our young Americans. You want to hear one like a serious one about 9/11 or something? Here, let me try to find it.
Let's hear a serious one. I like Bird. Bird sounds like one I would have wrote because the teacher said you have to write a poem.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, my dog. My dog is a dog, and he just dogs around all day long.
I think there's one exactly like that in here, actually. But no, there's tons of them that are like that, where it's like they're just doing it because their teacher told them they had to. Oh, this one's called Parents. I read this one to my kids last night. Parents are nice. Parents are mean. They'll give you crushed ice when you look green.
Nice.
They're lovable. They're stern. They're huggable. They'll give you a hug, even if you don't learn. Parents go to work. We go to school. Sometimes they can be a jerk, but most of all, they're cool.
Wow. That's prolific writing.
All right, last one, dude. Last one. I think
this is reaction. This is this week's reaction stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is there's actually a couple on this page about America, but I'm pretty sure this one would have to do with 9/11 because of the title. The title is "Evil Has Come to America," and this is written by Sarah Hagen, age 12. This is in 2002, mind you. Evil has come to America and crushed so many hearts. They came so unexpectedly, and families had to part. They knew just what they were going to do and did it anyway. How could they be so heartless? Their evil has affected us in so many ways. It makes me mad to think about the people who thought this act was fun. They came into our nation and left us stunned. Why would anybody do this to such a beautiful place? They put tears in our eyes and put a frown on everyone's face. Evil has come to America, but we will be okay. We will get those responsible back, and for their mistake, they will have to pay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
We'll put a boot in your hands is an American way. Yeah, Uncle Sam.
Absolutely, man. There's more, man. There's plenty more. Do you want me to read United We Stand? Do you want me to read any more of this?
One more.
Is this boring you? Okay.
No,
United
I'm
We
loving
Stand.
it.
All right.
Is this 9/11 themed as well?
Yes, I would think so. Katie Boyd, age 11. Oh, yeah, definitely 9/11. The attack occurred without warning, with all of America mourning. We were lost and they gave us a scare, but terrorists, beware.
Cause we'll put up in here. It's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam.
We are on guard day and night, and we are ready to fight. We stand as one nation without hesitation. We will fight for our country forever, and to give up, we say never. But united we stand for our American land. From sea to soil, our country won't crumble nor foil. We will stand on our land and fight when the time is right. Now I will tell you this last: Afghanistan won't get past. America, home of the free.
Love it or leave it.
Afghanistan won't get past.
Huh?
Afghanistan won't get past.
No, they got past, all right.
Look, I don't. How did the government so successfully convince us that Afghanistan and Iraq were responsible for these attacks?
Because they have they own the industry of death, the military industrial complex. So they owned all the people, and then the people said, we got to go fight because they bombed our city, or they flew planes into our thing. And then we all was like, yeah. And then George Bush got up there and said stuff, and we're like, yeah. And then Toby Keith wrote a song. And then once Toby Keith wrote a song, there was no going back.
Yeah. I mean, you told no lies in all of that. I definitely want to point out one name you didn't mention: Dick Cheney. I mean, he owned a ton of Halliburton. I think he was on
Dick
the board.
Cheney would instigate a war just to make money?
Yeah, I am, and I'm saying Liz Cheney would do the same thing.
All them Cheneys are, dude. I think. Okay. Why do, when the media gets upset because the current incoming administration saying, you know what, we're going to not have wars, and the media gets upset and says these people aren't qualified.
Yeah.
They're not on your side. They want to send your kids to die in a desert or in Ukraine or whatever.
That's right. Absolutely, man. Go ahead.
I was thinking about it last night. You know that saying Jordan Peterson's got about, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I don't understand why we can't have that outlook for the whole country. We can have the best, most trained, baddest military, but that don't mean we have to use it.
Yeah, keep them at home. We can do that successfully. I know we can. I know less people can die.
Yeah.
I know that.
Just because I have a gun in my truck don't mean I have to shoot somebody.
That's right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, we've all heard the statistics on how many guns are owned in America. If it was a gun problem, we'd have a heck of a lot more deaths, right?
Yeah. It's a hate problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And that hate, you know, those guys, they probably got the same, the military industrial complex probably got the same mentality as a lot of serial killers.
Oh, for sure. I would think so, right?
They just do it because it's something to do.
Yeah. I mean, some serial killers actually get like their jollies off on that type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
we get on this?
Because of the poetry.
Oh, okay.
But I think this is good, man. I was actually listening to some ex-CIA officers talk about 9/11 a lot recently, and I do have a lot of questions about it. And part of that is because back in the day, man, if you were to ask any questions about 9/11, you were pro-terrorist. It was like, oh, what are you trying to say? You want terrorism to win? Do you want terrorism to win the war? Are you for Saddam Hussein? Are you for weapons of mass destruction? And all you
Right.
had to do was like question the collapse of Building 7, and you would get bombarded with all of these statements. Same as you do nowadays with, like, say, the COVID vaccine, right? If you question anything about the COVID vaccine, well, by God, you must be an anti-vaxxer. How could you not vaccinate your children? Like, it just snowballs so quick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're like, wait a second, I've vaccinated my kid every time. Like, what are you talking about? But no, I think it's really important to talk about because, like I said, a lot of people haven't been able to ask questions about 9/11. A lot of people don't know anything about it. There are some super suspicious things, and I just want it explained. I want it explained clearly. I want to know why all of the metal was shipped off to China like super fast, no analyzation done here in America. I'd like to know what happened to most of the debris from United 93 in Pennsylvania. I'd like to know what happened to the debris around the Pentagon. Like, there's just so many questions. That's all. That's all. And if there's nothing to hide, great. Talk to us about it. Let loose some of that information. Let us know. Because we're not a stupid society, and I'm tired of the government assuming we are. It's unfortunate that the government and the media can repeat certain talking points, and at some point, we just concede, and we're like, okay, you know what I
Right.
mean? It sucks.
We're just like, okay.
They just keep repeating the same thing. Building 7 was part of the towers coming down. Building 7 was part of the towers coming down. Like, they say it over and over and over again until we're just like, okay, Building 7 was
Well, I thought that for years that Building 7, like it was, it. I mean, I possibly could be explained away like from the seismic activity of the other two buildings falling.
Sure.
But if that was the case, why didn't everything else around it go down?
Yeah, and let's see some recreations. Let's see some simulations, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about simulations in a little while, man, and like recreating some things and virtual reality and whatnot. But I don't want to jump into that. But I think they could recreate, that scenario with some simulations, especially with AI now,
Yeah.
and give us a rundown. How did it happen? How did Building 7 actually collapse from, whether it's seismic activity or just the towers falling and whatever it is, whatever gave it structural, compromise the structural integrity. Find out. Let's simulate it and figure it out.
Right.
What'd you do this weekend, man?
I went to the racetrack.
I'm sorry. Do you want to change? Do you want to get off that 9/11 topic now?
Yeah. I went to the racetrack. We did some things with Synergy Speed Lab
Yeah.
at Sonoa. We went and
Cool.
set up, and then, dude, I got hit right here in the chin
Mhm.
with a piece of dirt. It come through 2 fences to get me.
Ooh,
And it kind of caught me off guard, and it felt like somebody threw a rock at me.
dude, that was the Lord's dirt.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, like, it hit me so hard I was offended.
Yeah, well,
I was like, how'd that happen?
the Lord
Yeah.
meant for that dirt to hit you. It made it through 2 fences, dude. He meant for it to hit you.
I mean, it wasn't no little piece. It was a chunk.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was fun. And then
It didn't give you any loose teeth, did it?
I don't think so. My jaw's been kind of sore from it, but
Oh, man.
and then what else happened? Oh, Saturday we worked on the race car a little bit, getting ready for 2025.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. And then we watched so we were at the Peach State Classic, which is the biggest short track event in the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
We went Friday and watched it live, did that stuff. Saturday we were we couldn't. The speed lab Chip was out of town, so we didn't do speed lab Saturday. So we ended up at home watching the Georgia Tennessee game. Go Dogs! And watching day 2 of the Peach State Classic. So I had my TV on the side and my projector over here, and it was, whichever was more interesting, I had it turned up.
Yeah, heck yeah. You were pulling double duty, man.
Dude, it was so tough. Eating chicken wings and pizza and buffalo dip. Oh, the buffalo dip was good.
Oh, that sounds like the ultimate Saturday night, by the way.
It was. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this little piece of information out there, and you can do with it what you want with what you want. You know how Walmart's got like their deli salsa?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had it?
Can't remember.
It tastes like chili salsa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Chili salsa is so good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so, keep that in mind, dude.
Keep that in mind next time you're going to get salsa. It's cantina style. It's pretty good.
Right on. We always pass Walmart coleslaw off as our homemade recipe. We've done it now.
Understandable. Yeah. Put it in a different container and fluff it up a little bit, and
wrap it up in some plastic wrap, dude.
Yeah.
We've had people swear it's the best dang coleslaw they've ever had. They want the recipe.
Oh, no. Secret family recipe.
Secret.
But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. Racing and eating. And,
pulling double duty, man. How was it? Was it cool? Was it easy?
It was as cool as the picture looked. It was like it's Chuck's Bar and Grill,
Yeah.
It's like being at a bar type situation, and you got all the different TVs,
Yeah.
So you got more than one game going or one event going, and then whatever's the most important at the time, you have the sound onto that. Yeah, it was a good time.
That's so cool, man. Well, that kind of leads us right into the football wrap up, actually. So let's talk about that Georgia game, man.
Who's that coming down the track?
That's right, man. That's right. UGA got that big win, dude.
And you know what?
What?
It didn't look like it was going to happen in there at the beginning. They come out a little sloppy.
They have every single game. I mean, besides Texas, they were a little hot at the beginning of Texas. Besides that game, they have had a sloppy, slow start every time.
Yeah. And that was probably our biggest home win of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's our biggest home win of the season because we hadn't played anybody at home.
It's a big deal.
And guess what? Both goalposts are still standing. Because and the box hedges around the track around the field are still in good condition.
Yeah,
because nobody rushed the field. Because Georgia fans are respectable.
That and the fact that it's Tennessee. I don't care that they're ranked ahead of us. It's just Tennessee.
But we beat a team that was ranked ahead of us. We're supposed to tear the place apart and go through. I guess what would they do? Throw the goalpost that little creek beside the stadium?
Yeah.
It's like
there's a river that runs through Athens somewhere, but I don't think it's real close to the stadium.
They claim there is. I have never seen it. I've never even gone over the bridge, and I've rode all over the place up there.
Yeah. But no, you're right. But I think UGA fans just kind of have this mentality. It's like, oh, we beat Tennessee. We should. You know what I mean? We should beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. Even if they were number 7 or whatever they were ranked, who cares? It's Tennessee.
Yeah. But we beat them. And what's that? Have they got the new – when's the new –
They should have the new rankings out by now. They should have the new rankings out. Carson Beck didn't have his worst game. He moved with his legs a little bit. I was happy to see that. He ran for, I think, a touchdown, maybe even 2. I can't remember. But, I mean, the kid was actually moving the ball with his legs when he had to. So I like to see that, man. It was better decision-making from Carson Beck, and that's what we needed for the Georgia offense for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. It's weird because it's like they flipped the switch. They should have flipped earlier in the season,
Yeah.
and so the playoff rankings don't come out till tomorrow at 7.
Oh, okay.
But the AP rankings, the coaches poll, and all the top 25 bull crap and all that,
Yeah.
we are not going to donate, but Georgia is back up to 8.
Okay. That's
So we jumped
respectable.
3 spaces.
That's
Notre Dame's
respectable.
still ahead of us, which they don't count because they don't play in a freaking conference.
Look, they're the media's, wonder child all the time. So whatever.
Big Catholic.
Yeah, dude, we got big Catholic invading college football.
Yeah. The Ohio State University is second right now
Okay.
with a 9-1 record. 9-1,
Okay.
9-1.
I'm fine with that.
We're 8-2. That 8-2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let's see. The 2 top ranked teams right now, as far as SEC teams in the top 25, is Alabama at 7 and Georgia at 8. Does that mean who's going to be in the SEC championship game if it ended right now?
I don't know. Based on stats, isn't it like I want to say it's Mississippi State or something like that? Like it's some really random, or maybe Missouri. It's some really random teams, man. Like maybe Arkansas. I can't remember.
So let's see here.
Who has the best record in the SEC?
We'll go to SEC right now. We're in the game. Oh wait, that's EA Sports. Never mind. Current standings. All right. This is on the SEC website.
Mm-hmm.
Current standings. The top 2 teams meet in Atlanta for a chance at the SEC title.
Mm-hmm. Who's in those top positions right now, though?
Texas and Texas A&M.
Oh, Lord.
That's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
And then Georgia, then Tennessee, then Alabama. So
you want to know my issue with that? My biggest issue with that, those are not the 2 best teams in the SEC.
No.
I want the 2 best teams playing for the SEC championship.
This is the current standings. Now, does Texas or Texas A&M, do they have to play each other again?
I don't know.
Or
they might be. That might be rivalry week for them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Texas A&M. I'll go with that. Okay, so yeah, they got to play Saturday. They got to play Saturday, November 30th.
Yeah, rivalry week. That's right.
During rivalry week.
Yeah, right after Thanksgiving. Heck yeah, dude.
Does that mean we're gonna have to play Texas again? So if Texas wins, which they should because they're 3, A&M's 15.
Yeah.
That should put them down, and since it's just a fresh after, they wouldn't play them 2 weeks in a row. So that would put us up to 2nd.
Maybe, but you got Ole Miss who's hanging out there at 4-2 in the SEC right now. Alabama is also 4-2 in the SEC. So they both have games left to play in the SEC. So I just say that to say, like, those teams could also potentially make it.
It could jack around a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia, they've got to lose to. I don't even remember who do they have left. They've got Georgia Tech, obviously.
We're done with our SEC part of the season.
Right. Okay. So they can lose out and still they've got 2 SEC losses. That is what it is.
Yeah, but we're not going to lose out because we play somebody's little college and then that team from Atlanta.
Yeah. And every conference winner gets into the playoffs.
Correct. is what I've heard.
So I'm just
All right,
saying.
Falcons sucked again.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about them. I'm really angry with the Falcons.
That takes us into our next subject.
Yes.
Amazon is using cameras to take a picture of their trucks every day after they come off the road to see if they got tore up.
Yeah, man. They've got these like little drive-through tunnel things. It's almost like a imaging, thing for the car as you drive through it, like a little car wash thing. As you drive through it, it's taking a scan of the vehicle, picking up any scratches, dents, dings, any of it. And it's able to analyze that and know when things happen, which is crazy.
Dude, do you know what that do to some of them drivers that we know? I'm just saying.
That's crazy, man. Anyone who hasn't seen the video of it, I highly recommend. There's also dealerships who do the same thing.
Yeah.
I've seen, after I started looking into it, there are dealerships who have the same setup. They'll drive your car through it, pick up any dents, dings, tell you how much it's going to cost to fix, all that. It's really interesting technology, dude. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about incorporating AI into mechanicking?
It would make our job easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would. Because especially once they get it where, they've already got the technology on railroads that read the temperature of the wheels when they come by and the bearings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if they had that kind of technology under the truck, looking at it too, looking for grease, like a wheel bearing leaking or a wheel seal leaking.
Or excess heat from a catalytic converter because it's stopped up.
Yeah. I mean, there's potential there to make our I don't think AI can fix a truck.
Right.
But I tell you what would be nice. If you take a telematics type situation and instead of just throwing the code and say, oh, it's a P302, maybe AI could go, hey, it's a P302. And when you click on that code, it gives you a scenario tree or whatever they call them trees.
Sure.
To fix it. I mean, I'm not saying, that takes a little bit of the thinking out of it, but golly, it sure would make it more efficient.
Yeah, I think I love I love where your thought process is, man. Plugging in like a Jarvis from Iron Man, just like plug in a Jarvis and drive the vehicle, and like say it's a catalyst efficiency code. Instead of us having to look at the data, try to determine which oxygen sensor might be fluttering incorrectly or which catalytic converter isn't actually breaking down exhaust gases properly. Instead of us looking at the data, just let AI analyze all of the data because that's what it's good at. It's good at deciphering data, looking for patterns. Let the AI do that. Like we just have to test drive it, and then it's like, boop, 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 boop. It runs through the tree for you. You don't even have to run through that tree.
Yeah, it goes ahead and it does the circuit test. It does all that. I mean, it's not like the technology's not out there to make it real easy. Sure. I mean, if you got a reading from your sensor, you're pretty sure the circuit test is already done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the heater circuit is closing, we're good. Yeah.
And
you know
instead
what I mean?
of having to go through and weed through all that data stream yourself, it goes. Boop.
Let it process, analyze all the data, let it do what it's really good at, man. I think that's a really cool idea.
Because everybody already thinks that's how it works. It don't work on cars, and it don't. Like when you hook that computer up, you still have to go through there and read data stream stuff and all that. And I've been getting better at it. Just because I've had to.
Sure. That happens with experience.
It sure has helped us in some situations too.
Yeah.
But, if you had an AI overlay on that program that said, and then it also pulls in the bulletin information that the dealers put out and goes, ooh, oh, you might want to really check this because this has been happening a lot.
Right. This is actually a common problem. Even though it's throwing a code over here, this is kind of the common problem that is fixing the code. You know what I mean? If it could process all of that data for you as well. I did a little bit of a dive on this when I saw that Amazon article, and I wanted to bring a couple of things to your attention, dude.
Okay.
I was one thing I found interesting is that people are already starting to use Chat GPT for diagnosing vehicles. So they're just
really?
running it through like question processes. You know what I mean? Like they'll ask it a question, it'll spit out an answer, they'll run through that test or that part or whatever, and then they go to the next one and just kind of using Chat GPT in order to diagnose vehicles. So I found that interesting. So it is already in play as far as that goes. But I love your idea of like having a plug and play version of that, that's incorporated into the diagnostic software. That would be super cool.
Speaking of Chat GPT, and then we're going to take a break. Charlie's been using that to do things like he'll put in this information. Like he was trying to do some sponsorship stuff, right? And do a leaflet, if you will.
Yeah.
So he put in all he wanted to say, and he told GPT, now make it more professional.
That's so awesome, right?
And I'll have to let you read it because you're like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's impressive what it can do, man. It's really impressive what ChatGPT can do.
I hope he's not writing his papers at school like that.
I know a lot of kids that are, man.
But is it cheating? Because you gave it the information.
Sure.
You had to run the program to get it to do it.
Yeah.
And then you're just, dude, if I would have had that. Now, I remember back when I was in school and the internet was in its infancy, there was people that had figured out how to go find a paper that was already written and just turn that in.
Yeah.
I wasn't that smart. I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to cheat.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, things are different nowadays, dude. Things are really different for these kids. And look, I was also thinking like there's been some data that came out about pilots where I can't remember how to word this, but basically playing video games makes you a 26% better pilot. Like you're just better at the controls. Your intuition for the controls on the plane and everything are just better if you're a gamer. Why don't we have something like that for mechanics? One of the suggestions. There's a couple of different suggestions for AI in mechanicking, and one of them is like virtual reality training. So like actually putting on the goggles and thinking you're working on something and like, you know what I mean, trying to get that hands-on feel even into the classroom. And I thought that was really interesting, like maybe there was some sort of app out there that kids can start downloading and like start getting their brains to work in a manner for like problem solving and deductive reasoning and all of those things that we've got to use as mechanics. You know what I mean? Like, is there apps that like can start training? Like we've got TikTok out there that's already starting to train the strippers. You know what I mean? Right. Like, can we find something out there for like mechanics?
We got what was that game? There's one where you got to take these nuts and bolts out in a pattern to where the pieces will drop. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. You got to figure out, okay, if I move this one over here, so the peaks can swing down. I use it.
That's cool. And I was just thinking, man, that's me thinking out loud. Like,
you know what I mean? A video game that's like working on.
Well, for us, it wouldn't be that good, right? But for someone in a classroom, it could be super helpful.
Right. Mary Beth will sit there and watch TikToks on cutting hair, and I'm sitting there watching TikToks on working on cars, and we're like.
So you're halfway there already, man. Now we just need to make it like interactive and virtual reality.
And we're both sitting there going, that's a stupid way to do it. Let's take a break. We'll be right back, y'all.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Thanks for sticking with us through this ad break, guys. I'm here to tell you about one of our sponsors, Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. You can check her out at movingcoweta.com for all of your real estate needs in the metro Atlanta area. That's movingcoweta.com. Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. Now back to the show.
We're back, Nightshifters. I hope you enjoyed that awesome commercial break when we thank our sponsors.
Yes.
So we are back talking. We're just going to jump right into our conspiracy corner for this week. Now,
Yes, sir.
there's a lot of talk about UFOs in the news right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking specifically for a UFO sighting in Spalding County,
Okay.
Orchard Hill area, but I could not find it this time because there's so much stuff about UFOs. But I did find it says this is the Telegraph from Macon.
Okay.
It said this article is from May 7th, 2019.
Okay.
UFOs lit up Georgia skies in the 1970s as Macon firemen chase flashing orbs. Do you believe?
Ooh. I like that headline.
This story is part of an occasional series about local items of historic. In the wee hours of August 31st, 1973, Georgia police in Cordele, that's where a racetrack's at, a south middle Georgia town that straddles Interstate 75, radioed cops 60 miles away of Macon, be on the lookout. There was trouble or something on the way. An item in the Macon News that afternoon divulged the essence of the 2:25 a.m. alert. A UFO was headed towards Macon. So these cops saw a UFO headed towards Macon. There's newspaper articles.
Yeah.
They saw this thing in Albany.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you say it. It's not Albany. It's Albany.
Okay.
Macon, Atlanta. I imagine that this is the same one that they saw in Orchard Hill because it's the same time period. And being in the early 70s is probably related to Jimmy Carter's UFO.
Could be.
Now, why UFOs are in Georgia, I don't know. But you have an experience with a UFO, right?
Yeah, man. I've never talked about it on the air. I don't think anyway. I've never divulged this to the Nightshifters, but I was super young, man. Me and my mom, we went for a late night, like Wendy's or Taco Bell run, something like that. Got our food. We're on the way back home, and we saw this light in the sky, and it was one solid, like off-white color, kind of yellowish, for a while, and then it started flashing several different colors. Like we saw a green, a red, yellow, blue, orange. Like we saw all these different, like, array of the color spectrum, right? And then me and my mom were just talking to each other, like, this can't be real. What is this thing? It was tiny. It was tiny, but it was there, and it seemed kind of close, but it was small. And so we're kind of talking to each other and about it, like, this, are we both seeing this? Like, are you seeing this too? And so we're describing it to each other, and we're both seeing the same thing. We look back up, and it literally in a split second just disappears. There isn't like a trail. There isn't like, we don't watch it go into the sky further, like zoom off, nothing. It literally just disappears. And that's my UFO experience, man. That's it.
Do you have a year for the story? A guesstimated year.
It had to be mid-90s, if I had to guess. I'd say 95, 96.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember in this area that there was a plane with a sign on the bottom of it that used to fly around at night?
No.
Yes.
No.
I don't know when it started doing this, but it had like a LED sign on it, and you could advertise on the bottom of it, kind of like to get your blimp.
Really? That's fascinating.
And
is that your explanation for my UFO sighting?
Possibly, because this was around 99 or 2000.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw it deer hunting one night, and it scared the crap out of me. But since I was outside, I could hear it.
Yeah.
It didn't fly very high,
Sure.
and it didn't
Sure.
fly very fast.
Yeah. So the only things, so what would be my rebuttals to that? Like I could see that as an explanation for sure. It didn't, the shape of it doesn't fit that sort of description. It was so small and like concentrated,
Yeah.
kind of orb like.
So this is what they were saying. They were seeing in Macon was orb like.
Yeah, the light seemed like it was super concentrated, like coming from one tiny circular point,
Yeah.
and it seemed to hover. That was the thing that made us even, keep looking at it. Like we both saw it in the sky, and we both assumed plane, but it didn't move for quite a while. Like as we're traveling down the highway, and then we're stopped at a couple of stoplights, like the thing's still out there in the sky. It was really strange.
Well, read this that I just sent you.
Okay.
Put this daggum mouth breather on there. Glad somebody saw it besides me.
I'm glad someone saw it besides me. This is Robert Barrett, Macon policeman. Yes, I believe in UFOs. There has got to be something to them. What do you want me? What is there?
You
something
just kind of scan over it, and
okay.
When he gets to the description down there, over towards his
might the heavenly beacons have been weather balloons? Possibly, but the origin of the night sightings was never explained. 4 of the lights formed a perfect baseball diamond. With 3 lights forming a tail. All of the lights were colored red, blue, green, except the next to the last light in the tail. That one looked like a light bulb. Weird. So it was of all different colors. They were seeing these orbs, all different colors.
Yeah.
That's so strange, man. What do you think, man? What do you think these UFOs are? We've been seeing them for a long time. There's been an uptick in sightings. There's supposedly been sightings throughout history, but there is a clear uptick in sightings after the nuclear testing. What's your explanation?
A lot of people are saying they're demons.
Uh-huh.
I tend to lean towards that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are saying now this newest report is that they're coming from the ocean. They got a word for it when they can fly in water and the air, but I don't know what it is. And then there's people on TikTok actually saying, and I haven't gone and done any research on this, so before you say, Chuck, that's not right, it's probably not. They say there's evidence in the Bible that the UFOs are in the ocean.
In the ocean?
Yes, because they all got washed in there because of the flood.
Interesting.
And then Jesus cast the demons out of the pig, or cast the demons out, and the pigs ran off in the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're saying, well, that's where they went, and because they inhabited the bodies of the sea creatures while they were during the flood, so they could survive.
Oh,
okay. I don't know. I haven't got into that.
TikTok has
I got too much going on to do a deep dive into demonology of sea creatures.
Yeah.
But that's why the orcas attacked the sailboat.
That's fascinating. So TikTok has explained it for us, man.
TikTok will explain everything. But the one thing they can't explain is the meme of the week.
Okay. Send that on over here, man. I like your conspiracy. I love UFOs. I'm a big fan of the topic. I'm kind of like you. I kind of tend to lean towards they've always been here. Maybe they're angels and demons. I think there's definitely some sort of spiritual aspect to them.
Yeah.
It's really strange, man. There's a lot of talk that maybe they're us in the future. Who knows, dude? I do find it. I find two things hard to believe, and I think this can be both can be true. It's hard to believe that the universe is as big as it is, and there's no other life out there. There's no other biological life. It's hard to believe that, right? But it's also hard to believe that that biological life traversed this incredibly vast universe and made it here.
Right.
So both of those things are hard for me to believe. So I don't know, man. I'm a little in between, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, it's.
But I'll give it. I also think that there's a lot of government tech involved in some of the sightings that we have nowadays. But so I'll give it maybe.
Trump's gonna defund that tech, so we ain't gonna worry about that.
We'll see. I'll give your conspiracy. What's your conspiracy? That they're biblical? That it is demons and things like that?
Yeah.
I give it 3 beans, man. I think there's something spiritual to them, and whether they're actually angels and demons, I'm not real sure. But yeah, sure. I'll give it 3 beans. There's something to it. All right.
Cue the music.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And here we are. We have made it to the meme of the week. It is y'all's favorite segment of the show.
I hope so.
And this week, it's yours. Yeah. Probably my favorite segment too. This week we have a classic. It is Mike Tyson, and the caption is "We apologize for the threaming ithu."
This is a very fresh meme. This is only the freshest memes.
Yeah. So love it. It's classic. That's definitely a chuckle. You got a chuckle out of me there, dude. Like that one. Thank you. Great meme of the week.
Yeah. Good
Trucker,
old
who's
Mike
our
Tyson.
shout outs this week, dude?
I want to give a shout out to Da Vinci's Pizza.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Over in McDonough. If you're over in the McDonough area and you get a hankering for some pizza, chicken wings. I think they got some sandwiches on the menu.
Check
Go
out
check them
Da Vinci
out.
Pizza.
It's that. You remember when we was talking about the other day about how I felt like there was a pizza conspiracy about the small town pizza places all having the same pizza, but nobody claims it. It's that kind of pizza. I mean, it's good. It's good.
It tastes good, people.
It tastes really good. I love it. It's not salty. It's like the crust is not salty, which is always a good plus, but it looks like the same, and we might want to cut that part out.
They got that small town
whole
box.
segment. Let's cut that whole segment out about the pizza and the conspiracy. Please. We need the sponsorship money. But
shout out to Da Vinci's Pizza.
Yeah, if you're in McDonough, try that out.
Yep. Who else? Shout out to the Eating Chambers on YouTube. Chef Drew doing some awesome segments over there on the YouTube channel. Who else? Who we got? Shout out Charlie Oxenford Racing. He's got some new merch. If you want to place an order, he's got some new hoodies available. Yep. Hopefully going to have some hats available soon too. So be on the lookout for those.
I talked to the hat guy this weekend, and they're going to be like this hat kind of.
Yeah.
But with this as a leather laser etched patch, and it'll have his logo on it.
Cool.
So
that'll be cool, man.
Looking forward
That'd be
to
really
those.
Cool. Yeah, for sure, dude.
And
Pushing Like a Dump Truck podcast. Check it out.
We're gonna pick that up probably after the first of the year, once racing season gets kicking. He's got so much going on. He's going to some industry shows. He's going to the Snowball Derby. It's just wide open for Charlie right now.
I get it, man. I get it. But check it out anyway. There's an episode out there, give you a taste of what it's going to be like. We appreciate you guys listening. This is episode 171 of Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and Jon. Tell your friends. Tell your friends all about it.
All 3 of your friends, tell them about it. And if they tell 3 of their friends, and then they tell 3 of their friends,
my gosh,
we could
almost like a pyramid scheme.
We could retire.
The podcast pyramid, dude.
If we could retire, if y'all could tell enough people about us. We don't want to make Joe Rogan money.
Nope.
I mean, we'll take Joe Rogan money.
I'll take it.
But we don't have to make Joe Rogan money.
Don't have to.
We've got a number. We know what that number is.
Mm-hmm.
We've discussed the number, and
Yes.
we could say sayonara to our regular day job, and
That's right.
we could actually bring you more shows a week.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
true.
we could tickle your ears
Mm.
more. We could like break our segments up into 3 different shows.
Yeah, probably even get better at what we do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
And remember, don't go chasing waterfalls.